Well, hello guys, welcome back. The Percy Jackson saga continues. I checked on the books again this morning and they are still in Kentucky. Apparently, the update I saw about Warrendale, PA, I swear to the gods, I saw it on the site. Never happened. They left DHL's in capable hands and never made it to FedEx, according to what I'm seeing now, because they're still back in Kentucky. I don't know. The gods are playing with me. And, you guys will maybe get a surprise. It depends. I asked people over on the other channel, only because I can't pull here, because this channel is considered too small to warrant having things like polls and interacting with you and posting photos and stuff for you. So all that stuff goes on Patreon. I asked him, I said, where would a Percy Jackson review go? Thinking there's so many little kids into FNAF, even though it was never made for kids, and we're not getting into that they would jump at the chance to hear a book review. No, they didn't want it. So far, 100% of people were like the other channel. And I didn't tell them where the channel was or what it was about, but you may get a book review. I don't know. I don't even know when I'm going to open those because the original idea was to save them for Yule / Christmas / whatever. And then I'm like, had they already come in? Had they came in real fast, I would probably open them and read them real excitedly. And the longer I'm waiting for them to even ship from Kentucky, I'm like, I officially don't care anymore. Something like that. And I looked up a Pagan review on the books because I'm like, well, what do pagans think of this? And because Christians were freaking out. And remember, this series is a couple years old, and I think it's kind of like jumped the shark. I think it's had its popularity, kind of like Harry Potter, had its day in the sun, done. And it seemed like if children were pagans already, they either just found it was interesting because they interviewed children, or they kind of found a god or goddess that wanted to work with them, which was neat because in pagan households, now this was in pagan households, they were able to talk about that, and it reminded me of like when we would read about the Greek or Norse gods. People, and these were Christian children, would find a god or something they thought communicated with them or they felt was theirs or something. This was decades ago. And they would get very defensive. Never mind that, as a Christian, you cannot, I can't stretch this enough, as a Christian, you cannot serve any other god. There's no in-between room there. Rick Rodian, or however you pronounce his name, tried to make that in-between room, like with God being this capital G thing, and then every other pantheon on the planet is a small g. Which is a sneaky way of doing it, because that could be Christian God with capital G, that could be Hindu, that could be anything up there, just never gets into it. And so it kind of sounded like a really bad attempt to mix Christianity and mythology. But, most pagans didn't seem to care. Some people did find it offensive. It depends on your relationship with the gods and how you like to see them depicted. I went to the official site and I'm looking at Stories Hephaestus, and they already got it wrong. From every other version of the story I heard, it was Hera who took one look at him, was disgusted with her child, and threw him, off Mount Olympus. I don't know why he decided to have Zeus do it. And I'm like, where do these people, and this always happens, like anytime people write about our gods, I'm like, where did they get this information? Did they just make it up and change it because it sounded more exciting if the father rejected the son instead of the mother? What's going on? And I'm like, I really don't care if people change something too much for a fictional thing. It's just that when you do get, the only pet peeve I have with it, when you do get new pagans, or stories really aren't like, you have to see it this way, but at the same time, trying to explain to people that Loki is Thor's uncle. He was not adopted as a frost giant. And you know, Marvel is awesome, but that is not like the dramatic retelling of her people. Loki is not an alien. There are not, you know, people from a Marvel universe coming to invade this planet. But if they are, they're all going to go for New York City anyway, so who cares? I'm sorry. I love New York City. I do. I love it. I'm just teasing. But it's like, you know how people are. Really, at the end of the day, if we knew all they were going to do is invade big cities, most of us would be like, who cares? I don't live here. But, it was interesting. And Loki was just looking at me with amusement because if you serve, like, the article was interesting because if you serve the Greek gods, say, or like they were, one couple was raising the child Wiccan, even though they're not both Wiccan, and they were really loose about it, so they didn't mind like the Norse books or anything either, which, you know, I guess if you served anyone but Loki, they would be an issue. But if you serve Loki, it's terrible, you know. And I was kind of annoyed, because when I went to the website, they not only got, you know, the story for Hephaestus, and you not only changed that, but, you know, all of a sudden, Hades went from everything I was seeing in fan art and everything as, like, my attention kept getting poked, to this evil, smiling guy, and I'm like, no. It's like, he's not evil. But it seems like the children, at least, that are reading it don't care. There was a defense written also I looked at on the website of why would you teach this in schools, because a lot of people get upset if you have a Greek myth or Roman myth or whatever in the curriculum. And it kind of seemed like they took a book that was just meant to be entertaining and made it into The Great Gatsby meets Catcher in the Rye meets something else. It was like all these profoundly deep meanings of random situations, and I'm like, I taught English. This sounds like a boatload of hooey. Yes, I actually taught English. And I'm like, this sounds like we are padding out what the book means when it was just meant to be a fantasy adventure novel, and it has nothing to do with I'm 12 years old and going on this adventure, and let me take a moment to reflect like a 40-year-old person on this event that's happening to me. That does not seem to be, from what I've read, the excerpts of the books, it does not seem to be like it goes from adventure to French existentialism and then back to an adventure book. It does not seem like that happens. But it is a very good and noble attempt to make a book that was written to be kind of sword and sorcery and make it you know, so that you can have parents let you read the book and not burn it. And it seems, I haven't read like a whole book yet, it seems like it's more on problem solving when they send these kids out on these quests. And you know, you make it all about kids because that's how you get kids to read it. And there's nothing wrong with that. And adult readers can read that too, because everybody keeps going on quests throughout their lifetime. Everybody throughout their lifetime feels like a young child that has no idea what's going on in life and has experienced stuff, and they can relate to it. And it looks like an interesting read. If the books ever get here, they're apparently still in Kentucky. If they haven't come by next Thursday, if I can wait that long, I'll call my local post office and be like, look, couple days ago, these books were marked as being in Warrendale, and now they don't exist. They're still back in Kentucky. What happened? Did they lose my package? It's kind of like I'm cursed lately getting stuff through the mail. So, I don't know. If these books did get lost, I'm not going to reorder them. I'll be like, fine, whatever. But yeah, I'm like, it's really strange. And you know, if you've ever ordered through eBay, how bad their tracking system is. Something can show up and then 2 weeks later they finally tell you it shipped. So, yeah, but I figured I would let you know that if I think you guys will be interested, I'll have a review. I'm still torn between open up the books and read them when they come in, or save them for, the holiday season or whatever, but we shall see. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and it's really interesting. And I will not be reading the, as far as I know, unless somebody gives me a set, I will not be reading the Norse adventures, because, it's like, as a Lokean, you don't want to endorse that idea that, yes, Loki is the ultimate evil and he's going to destroy the world, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I mean, if you could go away for a while and read the books and maybe try to find a deeper meaning, maybe that would work. But I'm like, I know my temper, the books would be flying all around the room. So, it's weird, and I know Rick Wardian has said that he thinks our beliefs are odd or something like that, so it's not like he writes from a place of respecting that these gods are still worshipped. And it's like, well, who made you God, so to speak, and said who people can and can't worship. Some people's worship beliefs are strange to other people, but that doesn't mean you don't respect them, or that you get to, like, laugh at them or whatever. Or one day a writer from outside the faith is going to actually ask some pagan permission and feedback, and some pagan's just gonna die of shock or something. But I mean, it's not like people need permission from pagans in general to write fantasy novels about our gods, but it's always weird that they're writing about our gods that are still very active, and they're the ones calling us strange, and we're like, okay, whatever. Okay, I will see you guys later. Bye bye.